Today, we're diving into something pretty wild, where gourmet cooking smacks right into artificial intelligence.
Okay, so take a look at this. It's a picture of a home-cooked steak dinner. Looks pretty good, right? But what if I told you that just this one photo could unlock all the secrets of how it was cooked, like turning the picture itself into a full-blown scientific simulation?
I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but a new AI tool says it can do exactly that. It can take a regular photo and morph it into a multi-physics simulation, basically a model that gets the heat, the chemistry, the whole deal. The big question is, how?
All right, so to cook up this digital meal, the simulator needs a recipe. But we're not talking cups and tablespoons here. Its ingredients are data points, or what the system calls parameters.
Yeah, this isn't some kind of magic trick. It is all about the data. The AI scans the photo, it looks at all the available info, and it pulls out 20 key parameters. These are the things that define everything about this dish, this Sichuan steak with caramelized onions.
So where does it get all this info? Well, you can see from the breakdown here, it's pretty interesting. Out of those 20 data points, a whopping 17 of them are assumed. Think of them as really smart guesses, and only 3 are extracted from hard scientific data. So let's talk about what that really means.
So, an assumed parameter, that's basically an educated guess. The AI just looks at the picture and makes a logical call. For example, it might look at the steak and say, that looks like it's about 20 millimeters thick. It's an estimate, based on what it can see.
But extracted parameters, oh, that's a whole different story. These are the solid scientific facts that hold the whole thing together. We're talking about things like the thermal diffusivity of beef, which is just a fancy way of saying how fast heat travels through it. This info is pulled straight from actual research papers. It's what makes the simulation, well, realistic.
Okay, so we've got our data ingredients all lined up. Now for the fun part. How does this thing actually cook the virtual steak? Well, it's all about the science of that sizzle.
The secret to an amazing steak dinner is really all about chemistry. And this simulation zeroes in on 2 of the biggest players in the pan, the Maillard reaction and good old caramelization. Let's start with the famous Maillard reaction. This is the magic that happens when the proteins and sugars in the steak get hot and start reacting with each other. It's way more than just browning. It's what creates that deep, savory, incredible flavor you get on a perfect crust. And then there's caramelization. This one's a bit more straightforward. It's literally just sugar breaking down from the heat. That's what gives you that sweet, nutty flavor in perfectly cooked onions. So you can really see the difference here. On one side, you've got the Myard reaction for the steak that needs protein and sugar, and it gives you that savory kick. On the other side, caramelization for the onions, that's only sugar, and it makes things sweet. See? 2 totally different chemical roads leading to one delicious plate, and the simulator models both.
All right, so the science is cool, the data is cool, but what's the point? Who is this actually for? Why go through all the trouble of turning a photo into a simulation? Well, this is where it starts to get really interesting.
Yeah, this isn't just a tech demo for the sake of it. The folks who built this had very specific people in mind, people who could really use a virtual test kitchen.
So who are we talking about? Well, 3 main groups pop up: food science students, pro chefs, and the people who teach them, culinary instructors. Let's see what this thing can do for each of them.
For a student, man, this is a total game changer. Think about it. No more wasting expensive steaks trying to get it right. They can just run simulation after simulation, playing with the heat, tweaking the time, until they figure out exactly how to nail that perfect medium rare, all without ever turning on the stove.
Now, for a professional chef, time and money are everything. With this, they can figure out the perfect amount of time for a marinade to really sink in and flavor the meat. They can optimize their whole process without throwing away a single expensive ingredient on a test run. And what about for teachers? It's an incredible visual tool. An instructor can actually show their students the data, like, here's a graph that proves why a super hot, fast sear is so crucial for keeping a steak juicy. It makes the why so much easier to understand.
So when you step back and look at the big picture, what is this thing really? It's not just a fancy calculator for food. It's like a brand new way to approach the art and science of cooking.
What it really does is build a bridge. On one side, you have that gut feeling, that intuition that a great chef has. And on the other side, you have the cold, hard scientific data. This tool lets them meet in the middle, so each can make the other better.
Okay, but let's be real for a second.
It's super important to remember this is an early stage tool. The creators are very clear about that. It's an amazing proof of concept for sure, but you shouldn't take its results as absolute fact. Think of it as a guide, a starting point that you still need to test out in a real kitchen.
And that kind of leaves us with this one big question, right? If we can do all this with just a single picture of a steak, what's next? I mean, think about it. Simulating the perfect pour-over coffee, figuring out the best way to plant your garden. What's some everyday thing you would want to turn into a simulation?